calling 911 because of a Porsche picture. This is getting out of hand. Someone's got to say it. Again, leave Britney alone.
This recent incident with Britney Spears and her fans calling the police because they were worried about her well-being because of something she did on Instagram is a perfect topic or a perfect example for me to discuss astrology, which is what I do. The sun right now is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the direct opposite of Leo. So basically you have the ruling dignitary of Leo now in its opposite house, which means it is in detriment. In Aquarius, detriment means it's at its most vulnerable because it's not in its comfort zone. And as we all know, that is actually a wonderful position to be in for growth or for opportunities to listen or hear or understand or be exposed to things that we normally would not have been able to, because getting out of our comfort zone helps us grow. It is ironic but beautiful and poetic that the full moon in Leo that is going to happen on February 4th is in direct square to the North and South node, which means the sun is going to be square to the North and South node, which means this is our check-in point of, have we gotten out of our comfort zone? How far have we come? Are we challenging ourselves enough? Or are we mistaking challenges as hardships and disposing of them, and instead mistaking our comfort zone as things that are good and wallowing in them and not helping ourselves to grow and expand? Okay, so that is a wonderful kind of general overview of the energy for the full moon that's coming on February 4th. But let's get back to the whole Britney thing, because I picked this as a wonderful example of what Sun in Aquarius can beg us to pay attention to, which is the dynamic between ourself, our personal ego, and our need for attention and notoriety versus the crowd and our need to fit in and our need to be a part of a community. What is their part in our lives and our part in their lives? How do we bridge and balance the need to be an individual with the need to participate in a community? That is what the duality between Aquarius and Leo teaches us. So when the sun is in Aquarius, there can be a lot of energy with regards to fandom. And that's why this was the perfect example and the perfect timing for when all of this would happen or start to be talked about. Because you have this concept of fandom. And let me just say right now, fandom is always toxic. There is no such thing as healthy fandom. I know that we use fandom in a colloquial sense to say, oh, I like them, I'm a fan of theirs. And in a colloquial sense, that's fine. But real fandom comes from fanaticism. And fanaticism is an unbalanced, unstable, unhealthy mindset. And so an actual fan is somebody who is in a toxic state of being. And celebrities who have fans are also in toxic states of being. Just because they're making money and they're popular doesn't mean they're healthy. If you are craving or dependent upon, even to continue making your money, dependent upon the psychosis of people who do not really know you and do not really care about you, which we'll get to. But if you're dependent on that toxic mindset to make your money and to feel good about yourself, you are in a toxic state of mind. On the other side, with the fans and the crowd, you are in a toxic state of mind if you are a fan, because you have become a fanatic, which means that you are removed from reality because somebody created something that made you feel a certain way. You now have mistaken that good feeling that what they created made in you for an intimate connection with the person themselves. And you think you know them, or you think you are participating in their life and actually have a role to play in their real existence. toxic. Toxic, toxic, toxic. So we have a perfect example of toxic Leo energy, which is celebrity status. Celebrity is toxic Leo energy, and fandom is toxic Aquarian energy. And because it's become such a normal part of our existence, it's almost lost upon us how really excruciatingly toxic it is. I would argue that it's as toxic as too much sugar, but because we have used sugar in almost everything now, in all processed foods, there's sugar in everything, so we don't even realize how toxic we're being to our bodies. It's the same thing when it comes to celebrity and fandom. There is a toxicity here. What is toxicity? It means it's unbalanced. It means it's completely and totally thrown off the rails, and because of that unbalance, it's not healthy anymore. So celebrity, that toxic Leo energy, is the need for people to see you. And it's the need that insists that you are not validated. Your talent is not validated. And even what you love to do might be determined on how much attention it gets you. That is toxic. You are relying on the crowd's approval of you to validate your existence and to decide what you are going to focus on, instead of following your heart and listening to your heart and letting your soul speak through your heart and just creating from the purpose of that God space is telling you to create through your heart. But instead, you are wavering and creating and doing things for attention's sake. If it's popular, I want it because it'll get me seen more. That's toxic Leo energy. And then you have toxic Aquarian energy, which is fandom, which is I am actually intimately connected to somebody that I don't even know because something they did made me feel good, and because I'm addicted to the way their creation made me feel, I now superimpose, or that addiction spills over to me, thinking I actually am connected to them, I care about them, I know what's best for them. It is a toxic situation. So this, and thank you to Andy from Popcorn Planet, because he does wonderful work. And out of all the eyes on celebrities, I think he and Popcorn Planet do a really good job of remaining objective. And objectivity is something that fandom does not have, because they've already kind of spilled over into not being able to have any boundaries or set any boundaries or know like what is healthy and what is not. So what he is talking about here is an incident that happened with recently about Britney Spears. She had posted something on social media, and this is why social media is so toxic for celebrities, in that they think it gives them the ability to talk directly to their fans, but that's the problem. They don't realize what their fans really are. And they as a celebrity, become toxic because they start actually depending and mistaking these people's addiction to them for them actually caring about them. And it becomes really, really self-defeating. So celebrities are using social media to communicate directly to people and creating and encouraging this concept of, I'm talking directly to you. We actually have a relationship. You don't actually have a relationship. This is somebody who wants your attention to make more money. That's what they want. And they're probably as unhealthy as you. So it's like two toxic situations getting together. But she posted online, she shared a picture of a car or something like that. And what ended up happening was people overread, dug too deep, and decided to call the police and 911, the emergency system, and have police go and check up on her.
How do we prove that? That's where I feel like the energy should be on, not constantly commenting on her Instagram, well, blah, 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 blah. Calling 911 because of a Porsche picture. This is getting out of hand. Someone's got to say it. Again, leave Britney alone.
Because they thought what she posted was a cry for help. Number one, these people have no objectivity. They have no concept of who Britney really is. All they know is that they need her and what she does and how she makes them feel to feel good about their lives.
Who would you like us to check on?
Britney Spears.
Now I have the full, this is a clip. We have the full one from my favorite person in the world, and we're going to talk about him in a second too. Here's the clip in its entirety. Let's watch these fans saving Britney. You ready for this?
Okay, and who would you like us to check on?
Britney Spears.
Okay, and why do you feel that she needs to be checked on?
There's been suspicious activity online, and now her account has been deleted.
Okay. Are you related to her?
I am not.
Okay. Hold on the line for me, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And here are these fans. You got this. You got this. You get them.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Great job as we post to TikTok.
If they are like, I don't want to or something, they start sounding like they don't want to do it. Should I just be like she posted 911, and then her account was deleted.
That's a lie. She posted a Porsche 911.
That's what triggered it. I gotta.
I'd love. I wish we could have heard her explain that.
And if they don't do anything, guess what? This is going viral right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is the moment. We need to do this.
I understand. No, I feel the same way.
Ma'am, thank you for holding.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the information. We'll pass it along, okay? Thank you.
Okay, and will someone be going out to check? Are you able to confirm that
I'm gonna
someone?
pass the information. Our watch commander.
And do you know their name?
I do. His name is Captain Gibson.
Okay. And if there's an update and he's able to confirm the safety of Miss Spears, would he be able to call and confirm she's safe, she's good?
No, I'm sorry, we cannot do that.
Okay. So is there any other way to confirm that in the end she is safe, or they weren't able to make contact, or they were?
Unfortunately, if you're not a relative, we can't contact you back, but I will pass the information on to our watch commander, okay?
I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So that's already toxic. But they have no objectivity. The whole Free Britney movement only worked, not because of the fandom, but because objective reporters, actual investigative reporting was done, where investigative reporters looked into the legalities, the practicalities, and objectively reviewed information and saw, wow, guess what? This is a really illegal situation going on here. And yes, I think the fandom did have a lot to do with bringing that to those reporters' attention. But just because something toxic worked out well doesn't mean it still didn't come from a toxic place. And the only reason why the toxicity turned into something that was actually good was because objectivity came and made that boundary and said, okay, let's look at the actual facts. And the actual facts turned out to be something that was illegal. And so these objective investigative reporters could then go and bring it to legal attention and escalate from there, in which case, and that's exactly what happened. So, okay, what then do we do and say, well, how do you know when it's good and how do you know when it's bad? It's always bad. It's always bad. It's always toxic. Fandom is always toxic. That doesn't mean you can't pick up information within that toxicity that can be practically applied to something that is beneficial. Good information can come from anywhere. And in the mind of somebody who is objective and practical, good information will be used in a good way. Good as in, we're not talking about right or wrong or opinion. We're talking about balanced. We're talking about healthy. We're talking about clear-minded and fair, right? You're not being fair if you've already made a decision that... You're not being fair if you've already made a decision before you've gotten the facts. You're actually not being fair. You're being emotional, and emotional isn't fair at all. And emotional in and of itself, emotions are toxic. All emotions, including happiness, are an expulsion. You're trying to expel energy, and it is the expulsion that is what you should pay attention to, not necessarily the emotion. So there's a sense of emotions in and of themselves are like urine or like defecation. They are your body trying to get out what it does not need anymore, right? There's a buildup of reaction, and you just have to let it out. That's why you end up crying when you're happy and when you're sad. That's why you can end up screaming when you're excited and when you're terrified, because it's just another way to release and get out that energy inside of you that you need to clear out before you can get back to a state of balance. Your body is always trying to find a state of balance. So getting back to Aquarius and Leo, something that we should really focus on when the sun is in Aquarius is the relationship between the crowd and the individual. And a downside to Aquarian energy is the hive mind. So people not actually being objective, losing all objectivity, and just sacrificing their brain to whatever the buzz has become. Okay, so that is very, very toxic. And a little bit of what's been happening here, without objectivity and without facts, people assumed, did not do research, did not do any kind of objective investigation. They just jumped to conclusions. And there you have somebody who is a celebrity, Britney Spears, who is now turning off and on her Instagram all the time. Why do you think she's doing this? Because at some level, she knows how toxic her fans are, but that because of what she has built and the way she's built her life, she still has to somehow try to manage that toxicity in her life, which is what a lot of celebrities have to do. And it's honestly making deals with the devil day in, day out. Because from the beginning of what you started, you never did the responsible thing. And at Britney Spears' young age, without any real parental guidance, which we know now, there's no way that she would have been able to know this or do this. But there's a difference between inspiring people and helping people and getting people addicted to you and dependent upon you. And from the beginning, if you are a responsible creator, you make a very clear separation between what you do and who you are. So that people don't, number one, are not encouraged to get addicted to what you do or get dependent upon you for what they need to feel better. But instead, you are only creating mechanisms by which you inspire them to do better on their own or find solutions for themselves, right? Which a great song or great music can absolutely do. And it's not always the celebrity or whatever kind of creator it is, a creator's fault for how it's interpreted if somebody gets addicted. But they can definitely set up boundaries from the beginning. Some celebrities don't even have social media. They don't want it because they don't want people to get the impression that they are personally in their life.
Kim, is there anything that can happen to please these fans to do what she said, which is to leave her alone and respect her privacy?
No. And it's really sad. It's really, really sad. I know there's so many fans that got so emotionally invested through the Free Britney movement. And, you know, we all had suspicions and theories and things like that. And some of them turned out to be true. And it was really, really heartbreaking. But Britney is free of the conservatorship. She has the right to live her life the way that she so chooses.
Right? Now, a lot of people use social media to get out there and talk to people, but you can also set boundaries with this. You can also set boundaries and say, well, I'm not going to let people DM me. I'm not going to have conversations with people online like this. They don't know me.
Britney herself has responded now, and she said, as everyone knows, the police were called to my home based on some prank phone calls. I love and adore my fans, but this time things went a little too far, and my privacy was invaded. The police never entered my home, and when they came to my gate, they quickly realized there was no issue and left immediately. This felt like I was being gaslit and bullied once the incident made it into the news and being portrayed once again in a poor and unfair light by the media. During this time in my life, I truly hope the public and my fans, who I care so much about, can respect my privacy moving forward. All the love, B. All I got to say is bravo. I'm so glad. I wish she would do more of these sometimes more often.
Right? In the comment section, I might respond to a comment, but I'm not going to go into depth with somebody. I'm going to keep it standardized comments so that I am treating everybody equally and fairly, and I'm not letting them feel like I'm too closely personally in their life and that they have a personal connection to me. Now, once again, she couldn't always control how people interpreted her actions, but she definitely can set up some healthy boundaries, which we now see. I mean, in Britney Spears' case, it's like out of the frying pan into the fire, because she jumped out of a toxic family situation into the arms of these people who don't really love her and don't really care about her. They're just addicted to her, and they need her to continue feeling good about a part of themselves or a part of their lives. And so now she's in another kind of hell. She's in another kind of prison. She's in another kind of situation where she can't escape. And especially from her fans. I mean, she could cut off her father, and she got out of that conservatorship. But the only way to cut off your fans is to get rid of your career, because for the past almost 30 years of her life, she has created a career based on people being addicted to her, people worshiping her. She has built a career on her celebrity status, which is why I think many celebrities start to turn to drugs and alcohol and even suicide when they realize it's gone too far and I can't turn back. And the only way I could turn back is to give up everything that I have built, which I completely mistake for being who I am, for being all that I am, for being what gives me value in the first place, instead of realizing your value comes from you and it comes from your ability, whether people are watching or not. So ultimately, I wanted to bring up this discussion and talk to you guys about it. I haven't vlogged in a while, and I thought this was a really important vlog because it is so time sensitive and important for what's going on in the sky right now. I'm an astrologer, so I wanted to put it into a social context. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Do leave your comments below, and I'll see you again.